Hello guys, exeter-rider. This is a very coarse video on my favourite 125. So you can argue a lot of these bikes in so many different ways, but this is just a quick jot down of bikes that I like and the pros and cons to them. Okay, so it's the top 5 125s for me. Now obviously we are all different, we all want different things out of bikes. I personally, at my age, I want something that's comfortable with a good seat and something that's smooth to ride with still enough power. Now again, with 125s, they are all generally the same amount of power, so you're not going to have a fast 125 against a slow 125. So that is an important point. That, you know, I'm going to like certain things that you may not if you're 17. If I was 17, I'll probably go for a sports bike type of motorbike. But in my top 5, first of all, I'm going to start off with number 5, 4 and 3 are Chinese brands. So you know, always very controversial. Let's face it, you know, a lot of these Chinese bikes are they do their own thing. You know, they are there as a budget bike. When I was 17, I couldn't afford a brand new Chinese bike, let alone a second-hand one. I would have struggled back then. I was only on £60 a week, and back then second-hand bikes would probably pick a decent one up for under £1,000. But over the years things have got more complicated. Second-hand bikes are more expensive because you're paying for things like ABS and in some cases even traction control. So the good thing with the Chinese brands is that they do keep things basic. They're a basic engine, they're not trying to show off, they're just trying to give you a bare bones bike. Now obviously the downside to that is that quite often they're not made as well, not quite often, they are never, they're not made as well as Japanese brands. So that does need to be Japanese, or you know, there are other brands as well, of course. But in the top Japanese, we've got Suzuki, Yamaha, and Honda. Now you can't really go wrong with any of those brands. I do find that Honda are faultless, whether that's on the electronic side, which is the area which a lot of these bikes let themselves down. And even, you know, if you're paying silly money for a bike, well, when I say silly money, I'm saying over £20,000, you can still get a bike which is loaded with electronics, and quite often that is what will let these bikes down. Whereas with the Chinese brands, because they are so uncomplicated and quite basic, you know, they just give you what you need, you don't normally get those issues, or certainly less likely to, should I say. So I think I've covered that. Now I haven't included Aprilia and KTM in this list. I think KTM could be worthy of being in this list purely because I think their 125 has a lot of good credentials, comfort, power, and things like that. But unfortunately KTM in this country, in the UK, they do seem to be in a right old pickle. Whether that's dealer support, which is probably their main problem, or yeah, just the bikes in general do seem to have problems. Let's just get on with this, waffling away. Right, so in 5 we have the Sinnis Terrain T125, so that's a 125 version of the Sinnis Terrain. Why do I like that bike so much? The reason is because first of all, price point is £3,500, which in this day and age is pretty damn good. And yeah, it's a bike which comes with the panniers, and it's pretty well loaded up and ready to go. Relatively comfortable, nice to ride, smooth to ride. It's a Suzuki based engine, and overall I just think it's a pretty good bike. It really is quite a good bike. And also reliability issues have been pretty good as well, so you know, it's quite a safe bet to buy a Sinnis Terrain. Now the downside to the Sinnis Terrain is the dealer network is rubbish. I mean, it's really hard to find a dealer for a Sinnis Terrain. Parts are pretty good, they're not too bad considering that every manufacturer at the moment is struggling to get parts. Sinnis are pretty good. And also you can go direct to the manufacturer for a chain, for example. You can buy straight off of their website, which means you don't have to go to the main dealer to sort that out. Yeah, but like I say, the downside is the dealership network. The service intervals are crazy. I think it's every 1,200 miles or something silly like that, which for me is a deal breaker. But I know that they are, the important thing I need to mention with the service intervals is that they are looking into that. They do need to, you know, I have had written an email to them saying that they do need to sort that out, because that is just, it's not workable, is it, 1,200 miles? But it is at the cost and price point where service intervals, you might as well just do it yourself. It's very easy to service a 125 motorcycle. So if it was, if they had the dealership network and the service intervals were better, then it would possibly be down to number 3. So there you go. Next up is, I've put in here the Lexmoto Detroit, which is a 2022 model, much like the Sinnis Outlaw. The Lexmoto, again, are Chinese. They are very well priced. This one is £2,900. So bearing in mind, if you're a new rider, you're 17, you just haven't, you know, just getting your CBT, then it's a good choice. Why is it good? First of all, parts are, again, in this case, pretty good, pretty easy to get. Dealership network, they're dotted all around all over the country, so they're pretty good in that side of things. The price is good. Yes, it's Chinese, so it's gonna, they're made quite well. The Chinese do know that we need to have these bikes built well now. You know, from years ago they were just like Tonka toys. So now they are really up in their game and have got a lot better. This particular bike, the Detroit, is very, you know, incredibly comfortable, which is something which you can't get in on even higher price bikes. It's hard to find a bike that is as comfortable as what those bikes are. So yeah, price point is 2,900, which again, cheap as hell. Good dealership network, comfortable, nice to ride, easy to get parts, and that is why it's at number 4. Not that difficult, is it? Right, next we have at number 3 we have the Benelli BN125. So why the Benelli BN125? I think Benellis are probably some of the most underrated bikes on the market, and so you might ask yourself, why don't you hear much about them? The reason being is that the way that the industry works is, in Benelli's case, they are distributed by a company called MotoGB. So they haven't, Benelli hasn't got a central hub, so to speak. They deal with another company to distribute them, so they haven't really got a decent PR company to you know, get the bikes out there and get them noticed. So it's a loss to them, really. It's sad that that is the case, because they should be selling a lot better than what they are. But the BN's a good looking bike. It's quite comfortable. Power wise, it's not too bad. It's not the fastest 125, but it's not the slowest either. Reliability is good, and I did meet somebody one time who had one, and they had done 13,000 miles and it's never missed a beat, never broken down, never caused any problems, and it was still in pretty good nick as well. So again, Benelli, good brand, and through their own fault, they're not really getting out there. A little bit like some other brands, actually. CF Motor are another one which do great bikes, and they're just not out in the open. So it's a shame, really. That's just all these are my opinion. So, you know, you can argue it either way. It's going to be very controversial, this aspect. Anyway, next, right down to number 2 is the Suzuki GSX125. Nice looking bike. Suzuki make good, strong, solid, reliable bikes. Finish isn't as good, in my opinion, as some of the other Japanese brands such as Kawasaki and Honda, but it's still above its, you know, it's still very good. So, you know, don't let that put you off. But I thought the GSX is a nice looking bike, and yeah, it's more of a sporty bike, but it comes in at 4,700, so it's bit pricey, you know. So the price is up there compared to some of the other 125s which you can get, but again, still pretty good. What else have I put on here? Oh yes, and that is closely, I've kind of got two in second place actually, which is a bit naughty really. But the other one is the Yamaha MT125, which would probably be my choice in the number 2 position if I was going to get a bike, because I like the look of the MTs. I like the aggressive styling of them as well, and again, reliability is pretty good. You know, it goes without saying, as with all the Japanese brands, they're all pretty good. I haven't got the price of the MT125 here, but I guess it's around the 4,500 mark as of 2022. Now number one is my favourite 125 for me. You know, if I was going to buy a 125 now, and I'm sure it goes like saying you've probably already seen it actually in the background, but my own personal favourite 125 is the Honda Monkey. And I absolutely love this bike. Now, it's not just me that says this. There's a lot of people that own Harleys, and they have the Monkey as their second. Sorry, are you in shot? They have this bike as their second bike. Why is it so good? Right, first of all, the 125 engine obviously is bulletproof. You know, this bike will go on forever. As long as it's relatively well looked after. Secondly, the finish is really good. You know, got that nice metallic two-tone paint tank there. Now, quite often when people look at monkey bikes, they sort of bring a smile to their face, and it's sort of like a bit of a jokey bike, really. So, what do you want to go around on that for? It's a tiny little thing. It's not that small. The seat height is still the same as any other bike. It's the suspension is fantastic on it. The finish is really good. I wish it had some sort of engine guard, and perhaps the exhaust was a little bit higher off the ground, so to speak. But it's a fun and engaging bike to ride. It does, you know, it's one of those bikes that, you know, it's just fun to ride. You know, yes, you're low to the ground, but you feel like you've got good power because of the 12-inch wheels down there. It is, how do I describe it? If you've got a bigger wheel, like the CBF125, you do tend to lose a bit of power because the wheels are so big. Whereas because these wheels are small, you get all the power that you can out the engine because they are a smaller wheel, if that makes sense. It's got 5-speed now, so it's really nice to do faster speeds, which is one of the problems with the existing model of the Honda Monkey. Seat is absolutely superb. It's got loads of retro styling looks, which, well, I mean, it's just a classic bike, isn't it? It's a classic legend of a bike, basically. I've got the semi-off-road tyres as well, so going on this grassy stuff shouldn't be a problem. In fact, last time I come here, I got a bit stuck on a Harley Davidson, but I'll leave a card up here on that one. But and funny enough, it is still a little bit damp, this grass, even though it's the height of summer. Yeah, rear shocks as well, and the suspension is really good. Nice metal mud guards. It's just a real joy to have. I mean, this bike is going back in a few days, and it's definitely one of the, I miss all the bikes I get, but some of them I send back and I just don't think about again. But this bike is going to go back, and I know I'm going to wake up in the morning and think, oh, I'm going to take the Monkey to work. Oh no, I can't, because it's gone. And yeah, I will be sad to see this one go. But yeah, I mean, another good thing with this compared to a lot of the other bikes, of course, such as the Sinnis, certainly, the Lexmotos and the Benellis, is that they do tend to depreciate. Some more than others. The Sinnis will depreciate quite a lot, although, that being said, the Sinnis Terrain 125s, they do hold their value pretty well, actually. The Lexmotos can dip a little bit, and the Benellis do dip quite a lot, sadly. They shouldn't, actually. They're kind of one of the better ones, but you know, that's just the way it is. But you can buy this bike now for £4,000, and this time next year it will probably be worth £3,900. So in many ways, you're buying, you know, with any Honda, you'll get this, is that you'll buy the bike and it won't hardly depreciate at all, and it will probably just be the same price the following year. So that, for me, is a major selling point. You know, I want to buy a bike. If I bought this now, you know, if I went down local dealers and bought it, I don't feel so bad, because if I did want to get rid of it, I know that I could probably sell it in no time, and you know, I'm not going to lose on it. You just can't really lose buying a bike like this on depreciation levels. Now, all that being said, are there any, I'm trying to think if there's any downsides to this one. There isn't really. It's just a matter of, is it your style? It's something I like because I just like the look of it. I like smaller bikes. If it's a 125, I want to have it a small bike. Yeah, there's not really any downsides. I suppose spare parts are quite pricey, which is frustrating because that didn't used to be the case, but spares are quite pricey for Hondas these days. Yeah, and in a joint, actually I've got a joint first place as well, sorry. And that is the CBF125. Again, it's a great bike in so many ways. Comfortable, makes a lot of sense around the city. It's just a really good bike. It's got big wheels as well, so it glides over the bumps quite well. Relatively good power, probably not the power that you get at the Monkey, I would say, because I think it's just set up a bit differently, but relatively good power. But the only problem is that it does look a little bit bland, whereas this has got, you know, styling, you know, all the way around. You know, no matter what angle you're looking at it, it does look good. So yeah, I mean, that pretty much wraps it up. That's my favourite 125s. I hope I've explained why I like them well enough. I've probably forgotten stuff which people would mention, and I'll think, oh yeah, I wish I said that in the video, but you know, that's enough of that vloggy woggy. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you could give it a like, that would be really cool. I have got some more 125 stuff coming up. I'm just checking I haven't missed anything. Build quality, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that'd do. Right, so yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you well on the next video. I think it's probably going to be Sunday at 4 PM, but we'll see if that's still the case when you're watching this. But thank you very much. Lovely to see you. Like and subscribe if you haven't done already, and if you've got any questions, please comment away. Let me know what your favourite bike is as well. Damn flies seem to attract them. And let me know what your favourite 125 is as well. I'd be interested in knowing, and the reasons why. Lovely. See you next one. Cheers.